Welcome to How Women Write, the podcast for author entrepreneurs to find inspiration and flow. Get easy to implement 20-minute or less writing and business lessons, plus interviews with relatable and inspiring women to help you create a sustainable writing habit that grows your business and leaves a lasting impact. I'm Jacqueline Fish, former communications consultant, 3-time author, and intuitive writing coach. Let's go. Hey, I am so happy to be talking to you today. I've had some really great conversations lately. All my conversations are great because I love the humans in my space, in my writing community, in my Substack community, my one-on-one clients. Everyone is amazing. And we are talking a lot about Substack. If you are hearing the buzz about Substack and wondering if it's really right for you, I do have another episode on this. I will link to it in the show notes that goes a little bit deeper into why I returned. I've been writing for a long time. I've been blogging for 14 years. So for me, Substack, a place to feature my writing, is natural. And the other piece that's been evolved in my writing, and I shared this on Monday last week, and it was another case where I sat down to write and the writing went in a completely different direction than I planned. I set out last week to turn on paid subscriptions again. I had them off since I came back in the summer. That reason was twofold. One, I had created a second Substack, disconnected my Stripe account, and then I couldn't get it reconnected. There was a glitch. I had to follow up with their tech team a dozen times to get it fixed. It finally got fixed a little over a month ago. So that was part one. I literally could not turn them on. And instead, I wanted to focus on the writing, not on subscribers. I wanted to really get clear on my message and practice and get consistent there, which has been more than easy to do. Publishing at least once a week there, sometimes more than that. And I really like to give myself the freedom to do that. And as a writer, when the words are flowing, they're flowing. I don't want to turn things off or think, oh, I already wrote 3 articles this week. Should I not publish this one? Or I'm going to schedule this one to go out 2 weeks later. So I'd essentially be writing like a month's worth of posts in advance. I don't want to do that. Why? The energy. The energy is different. A month from now, if I were to share the pieces I've been writing, the whole universe has changed since then. The moon has changed signs. The planets have shifted. Seasons have shifted. Everything is different. I am very much an in-the-moment writer, which is also why I am not one to answer the question, what's the best time of day to post? The best time of day to post is whenever you want. Now, a lot of times I will schedule certain things to go out at a certain time. And I think that level of consistency is grounding for me and my reader. So to know that my readers can rely on getting a post every Sunday that they can enjoy as they're sitting on the couch, sitting in the sun, sipping their coffee, they can settle in and read the words. Now that creates a feel-good anchor. I just imagine all these people reading and having them connect with one thing in there. So good. Last Monday, I sat down to write the introduction post about telling a quick story about why I went back and forth to Substack and why I was turning on paid subscriptions. And what came out was totally different than I had planned. There's a little bit of dragonfly medicine in there, and it was not intentional. I'll give you a rundown of what was in there. I talked about the changes from going to Substack and back, learning for sure that my writing is not about the platform, and yours isn't either. So really, it does not matter where your writing lives. Substack is just one place for it to live. Every time I moved tech stacks, online homes, or newsletter platforms, it was for one reason, and that was to make it easier to serve my readers better. I did realize that before I returned to Substack, some of those moves were actually about self-preservation. There's been a lot of writing that lives inside of me or has lived because some of it is coming out. The things that have been collecting digital dust in my drafts folder the longest, they're essays about what it actually takes to build a creative writing life. Reflections on spirituality and cycles, moving away from religion to finding the real Jesus and not finding him in a church. The parts about entrepreneurship no one talks about in things like their launch recaps, monthly roundups, or on their latest Instagram carousel post. All this writing that I've held back on because I didn't have a home for it felt like too much, like too private, too spiritual, too vulnerable, where my free audiences wanted tips and stories. So I did that. I've been writing tips. I've been writing practical posts, the occasional post where I pull back the curtain and show behind the scenes. Now, I've never counted all my articles in 14 years. There are hundreds. But the deeper stuff, kept behind closed doors, a good chunk of it I've shared with my paid writing community, which I've been running since 2018. It's the space that I needed to write my things. When I was doing done for you copywriting, my writing always fell to the bottom of the list. And I've had these conversations with other writers this week. They're doing all the work for their business to keep the lights on, but they're not doing the stuff that wakes them up at 2 a.m, the stuff that they keep getting nudged about, the stories they know they need to tell because it would change lives. No, because there's no time for that because we're too busy doing the other stuff. And I know that I need to start sharing more of this spiritual writing into my teaching. I found this screenshot recently where I asked my teacher, I said, I want to weave more spiritual writing into my teaching. Is this right for me? And this is what she said. I'm paraphrasing a little. Yes, I feel this would be so expansive for you. I think anyone who reads your most recent book, now that book was Intuitive Writing, published in 2023, they can sense your spiritual gifts. And I also sense some hesitation in exploring them and missing direction to help you activate them. Well, since 2023, I've been doing the work, even before then. So probably 2021 is when I really started diving deep into spiritual work instead of doing things like pulling oracle cards and thinking I was doing work when I was not, which, by the way, don't recommend. I can do a whole other episode on that. So when I returned to Substack in the summer, I wanted a place to share my more spiritual writing. The stuff that goes beyond the tips, like all the writing tips. Yes, we can do those too. But the first thing I published, and I don't think this was intentional, it was a post about God, not writing your business. I didn't really expect to go there. Like, okay, this is the first thing that wants to come out. Okay, that's what we're doing. And during a new moon that summer, I don't remember exactly which one, I wrote on a stone from my yard, and it sits on my desk. You can find the picture in the Substack post. I wrote on it in pink Sharpie with a little star at the top, and it says, Medicine Woman Writer. I thought for about 10 seconds about how I could brand that name. I mean, it doesn't sound very brandable. It's clunky. Medicine Woman Writer. What is that? And when I later asked that same teacher about that phrase that kept coming up for me, she said, again, I'm paraphrasing, this could be an aligned focus for my writing because I'd be able to reach people who might not have considered writing before because they either believe that they had nothing to say or their throat chakras were or are completely blocked. And that sparked something for me. She continued, you can help so many people with this new focus. With many things, I often jump right in and figure out the next step later, Aries rising. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. It just took me a couple of years to connect the dots. And the nudge got stronger last week. So after I had a kickoff call with a new book coaching client, she is writing memoir, unrelated to her business. She sent me a text. She said, this book, Your Writing Medicine, have cracked me open. I'm getting more memories today. She didn't know about the conversation I had with my teacher. She didn't know about the rock on my desk. Just that word kept coming up again. And it was confirmation, medicine, not just my medicine, which by the way, you all have. We all have our own unique energetic medicine, but this was my writing medicine. My left brain wanted to kick in and say things like, have I done enough work? Have I earned a place in the world to share my medicine? And especially, have I earned the place to not just share it, but to get paid to share it? That brought up all the, oof. And it was a full moon last week, all the things. So when I talked about Dragonfly medicine coming in strong, around the same time that I had the kickoff call with the new author, Dragonfly came up. I had another chat with a woman and she was talking about dragonflies, and I showed her the dish that sits on my desk. Now, I live in Florida. We do have lots of dragonflies, but I had not seen one on my porch in, I don't know, probably since last season. My flow for writing lately has been do some writing or drafting somewhere else, usually in my office, and then I will go down and sit in the sun on the back porch and finish up and edit. I was working on the piece that I'm linking to in the notes, and wouldn't you know, there was a dragonfly that got stuck into the screen, and I sat with it. I didn't immediately be like, what does this mean? I just noticed it. And later looked it up, because of course I did. Dragonfly represents transformation and authenticity. That moment of becoming what you always were. So I took that as a yes. Publish this essay that feels a little bit too much, too spiritual. Should I talk about medicine woman writer on here? Like, oh my God, all the feels. But here's what I know. After 14 years of blogging and publishing 3 books, almost 4, the stories that I almost didn't publish were the ones that mattered the most. These were the ones that felt a little bit scary to share, where I was sharing truth about something that I didn't have totally figured out yet. I didn't have all the words or the language. I had felt senses about things, but I shared them anyway. Those are the essays, the stories, the emails, the blogs that people email me about the most often. Sometimes it's years later. So I know that's the medicine at work. While I build everything to be useful, and as an entrepreneur, this is a strategy I 100% recommend to any business owner. But I used to treat being useful, like just writing those tips, as the only condition. Now I know something is shifting. The way you know a storm is about to blow in, but you don't quite see the storm clouds yet. The body just knows the words aren't there, and you don't always need them. So I don't have every detail mapped out, but I do know what my writing space is becoming. It's where I share the writing that I used to hold back, the deeper layers, my real-time process, the work beneath the work, even beyond what I share with my paid community. And that's the work I am fully stepping into now. Not just the practical tips, honest, true, alive. And I'm creating a space for people who feel that when they read. And this is where the medicine woman writer comes in. It truly is to expand how people think about writing coaching who maybe have never thought about it before, because all I've been sharing is tips. And when I share the stories, they see the writing in action. They see what it can look like for their writing to come to life. They have a real life example of someone sharing stories. And that's what it's all about. Last week, I opened up just 40 founding member spots in my Substack. On Sunday night, tonight, I am closing them. After that, what will be available is a monthly and a paid option. And the founding member spots, I'm not opening again. It is a one-time thing. As an aside, my paid writing community gets access to this already. So I gifted them the spots totally free, no extra cost to them. This is a smaller, more intimate layer of the work where I share the deeper writing, my real-time process, and the pieces I don't publish publicly. So this is where you will read some of my not for the public to live everywhere. So this does require an energetic boundary. The founding members are the originals, is what I'm calling them. So you are one of the originals if you are a business owner, coach, expert with a book or blog in you, or you're already writing one, and you are ready to write from your own medicine, not someone else's formula, swipe file, and you're definitely done using AI to write for you. You know that your writing could be doing more, or that it could be more honest, more authentic. You want to tell the stories behind the stories. You also want to attract the right readers, clients, opportunities, but there's something in there that's not quite connecting yet. And if your writing feels forced or inconsistent or like it's someone else's, the space is also for you. You want to be someone who writes. And not only that, you want to live the writing life. And it must feel really, really good. We're not about forcing things. So here's what founding members are going to get. The Energy First Writing Initiation audio series. This is totally new. It's exclusive to founding members. It's a deeper practice and unfolding real time. The series will begin later this week. And also a writing authority audit. I will do a deep async review of your full author positioning, whether that's on Substack, your website, your bio, and all the places it lives, and how you're showing up as an expert in your niche, and whether your writing is working as hard as it should. You'll get specific written recommendations, a personalized audio walkthrough showing you what to change, plus a 30-minute strategy call to help you implement all of that. So you also get weekly posts and prompts that are aligned to nature's rhythms. So moon-related prompts for each day. You'll get a weekly writing medicine resource, templates, practices, tools to deepen your creative work, a monthly async Q&A. So ask a question, get my insights. These will either come out in a recording just for you, private, not public, or it'll be in writing. Permanent founding member recognition. You'll be named in a dedicated post on this podcast and on social. And if you prefer to stay anonymous, just say so. That's also cool. You'll get first dibs on every new offer and program before I share it publicly. And the rate locked in forever, plus a quarterly writing medicine resource before anyone else sees it. So this audit alone is worth so much more than the investment I set for the founding members rate, which is only $500 a year. Everything else is a huge bonus. So if you were listening to this after Sunday, doors are closed, but I will have monthly and annual Substack subscriptions open after that, where you will still get the weekly posts and prompts, a weekly writing medicine resource, like templates, practices, and tools to deepen your creative work, and the monthly Q&A. So you still get some goodies, just not the writing authority audit and the initiation audio series. I invite you to check that out. If it's for you, then hop in. I'd love to see you in there as a founding member. I hope you truly enjoyed this episode of How Women Write, and that you are taking this advice and using it in all the things you are writing for your books and business. I would be over the moon if you can share this episode with someone who you think needs it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.